advertised for bidding on this. We received two bids. First bid from Hawk Enterprises for $295,560.00. Other was from D&D Electric, $319,285.88. Both bids were taken under advisement. Both bids were deemed responsive, and both contractors responsible. I recommend that we proceed with an award of the contract to Hawk Enterprises as our low bidder in the amount of $295,560.
Okay.
The funds from this, the mayor can explain a little bit more, but I'm not asking you to assign a contract today. We'll come back to the next meeting. I'm just asking you guys to approve the proceed with the award, and then we'll move forward with contractual paperwork following
Yes.
that.
We will, these bids were a little bit higher than we thought they were going to be. These are ARPA funds, so we're going to have to go back and transfer some funds within the ARPA release fund. That will be more towards this, the amount that's in there. So, and that'll probably happen Monday night at the council meeting, so it'll all be taken care of. But I'm fine with the 295. I mean, it is what it is, and we've got to get these lights done.
Yeah, and I'll remind you that, these lights, we've already owned the equipment. We purchased those from the replacement lights from Sternberg. This is for the installation of them.
Yes.
And there are 53 of them to be put up, and we'd really like to start that work right away and get these lights up as soon as possible.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, this was, there was some failure with the materials, and we went back to the company and they gave us a very fair settlement. So now it's just a matter of getting those all replaced. And that's, like I said, we're at the installation side of this now. So that's what this 295 is for. This is the installation costs. Questions?
Yep. I'll move that we approve the recommendation on the street light proposal.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Any further questions of city engineer? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Aaron, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Under new business, this is well, Aaron, I'll let you take this because you've been
Okay, yeah, I'm
connection with the
coordinating this.
watershed.
It's a stormwater utility matter. We have Brad Clayton from the Watershed Foundation here to present a little bit of information on a project that they're asking the city utility to participate in to some extent. We may or may not have an action to take on it today. It might just be informational, but if you feel comfortable afterwards, we can talk about
Okay.
the action on that. So.
All right, thank you. Hi, Brad, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing today?
Good, thank you.
I do have some folders here for y'all that has everything I'm going to talk about.
Appreciate it.
Try to keep this organized for you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So as Aaron said, I'm Brad Clayton with the Watershed Foundation out of North Webster, Indiana, and we've been working a lot in the Walnut Creek watershed, which in your folders there, that would be that orange portion on that map that pretty much contains all of the city of Warsaw in it. Part of that we've been working on is last summer, Zimmer Biomed approached us about doing a conversion from turf grass to about 15 acres of a native prairie planting, including some basins, some wastewater or some stormwater basins, planting those into native plants to help with infiltration. The front page there on your little handout there, that's just a couple of the pictures of the areas that we're looking at converting over into those native plantings. And then on page 2, we go into the specific areas. So we're starting at that West Campus area. They've got about 4 acres, 2 acres, and another 4 acres in those A, B, and C areas on the map that will be converted over to a prairie-type planting rather than mowing. Also, you'll notice the 2 blue circle and rectangle in that area. Those are stormwater basins that will be planted to a native basin setting that will help that water infiltrate better. Basically, an easy way to think about that is think about it as a large rain garden. That would be the West Campus. Next, we have the area on Lake Street, and this would be the area that I'm asking for the city of Warsaw some help on. This would be right over by the Penguin Point there on Lake Street, just off of the roundabout area. There's a 3.5 acre area in that has a large stormwater basin in it as well. So this would be the area that I'd be asking for some help with. And then there's that area F. That's another 1.25 acres in the back. And then we're also doing some areas closer on that north campus, which would be the old Biomet property, doing some areas at J and I, which are more little smaller stormwater basins, not as big of areas. They're also looking at working on the culvert area that's underneath the Boeing Road there on the Zimmer Biomet side. That has got a lot of erosion and it's kind of falling apart in that area, so they're looking at doing a design to fix that as well. And then going to that next page, they are looking at stabilizing their pond that's on the corner of Zimmer Lane and Zimmer Road. That area has a lot of heavy erosion in that, and we're looking at doing a design to basically make that a little bit better so that's not eroding and coming up closer to the road. If you go to that next set of pictures, that's actually the erosion on that pond, and also that erosion there on that culvert is on the other photo. They're looking overall at a grand total. We were originally planning on possibly starting this spring. They've actually changed that to this coming fall. They're looking at a grand total of the first year of doing a site prep and also seed and install, and doing a full maintenance program with multiple visits from Stantec, who will actually be doing the planting and the work. A first year assessment of about $60,000 to do that. That area E comes out to about $8,000. That would be the area that I'm proposing for the city. I'm proposing an ask of $5,000 for that. That would be at about a 70% cost share, and that would just cover the site prep and the seed and install. They will take care of the maintenance from then on out. Also, they're looking at doing maintenance for another 2 years on top of that, either with themselves or through the Stantec company. So grand total, you're looking at about $100,000 between the pond design, the maintenance, and converting all that 15 acres into prairie plantings. Those prairie plantings will also help infiltrate water down. It'll be good for birds and wildlife in the area, and it'll cut down on their carbon emissions quite a bit. So their carbon sequestration numbers, if we use the modeling that we have currently, you're looking in about 5 years of taking 21 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year will be pulled out of the air through these plantings. So that's kind of where they're looking at it for. I'm looking at it more from a water quality standpoint, where we can absorb a lot more of that water rather than it running off. Also, other partners on this is the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service with Scott Fetters. He has committed $8,500 to this project as well. And TWF is also going to help with educational signage and teaching other people about the area, so when people see that it looks kind of like a wildflowery, kind of a weedy mess, we can explain to them what that looks like. Does anybody have any questions?
So your proposal, Zimmer Biomet, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and per your proposal, $5,000 to the city will be going for this project. Are there any other funding partners in the project?
We do have the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and
Yeah, $8,500 from them.
Yep, $8,500 from them, and then the rest will pretty much be covered through Zimmer Biomet. They've got that through their folks, and it seems like that they are willing to put that forward.
Yeah. Questions? There's not any hurry on this. It doesn't sound like, if you're not going till the fall.
Yeah, originally we were talking about starting possibly in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Hence why this kind of got added to your agenda a little late. I apologize for that. But now we're looking at possibly a September start date on this. So if this is something that you do want to ask me some more questions later on and think about, I am okay with that as well.
Yeah.
We can work however you guys want to do that.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't mind taking it under advisement for the time being. We got a little time
Yeah.
to look at this and
Absolutely.
get a little more familiar with how this is being funded. Any particular reason that you want help with this Area E Was there a reason to designate that? That's not in the city.
That area E was just an area that was identified, because we do have the roundabout there. There is a little bit of a basin in that area, but it's almost too small for that to go on. So that was the area that was kind of picked out for that.
I guess my question is, do we have to designate an area? I mean, the majority of this is within the city limits, and I can see the benefit.
Absolutely. If you would just want to do a blanket 5,000 that would cover any of those other areas,
Well, we'll have that discussion.
yeah, we
but-
could have that discussion,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
So you would argue in your position that this would benefit local lakes, inside our city?
Yeah, this would benefit local lakes. I think this would also help your stormwater as well, because we're going to be doing a lot more absorption by putting in native plants that have that deeper root system. You're going to have a lot less runoff on those areas, and you'll have a lot less carbon dioxide from the mowing and all of that in town. So this would be a great project to kind of show off some green infrastructure that I know we're all looking forward to in the future, doing more green infrastructure projects. I think this would be a great model for the city to look at.
Yeah, that hits on the point I was going to share. Besides the direct impact of these specific projects, one of the stormwater utilities programs is educating and promoting green infrastructure. This gives us a chance to get some of those in place. Having pilot programs or examples already in place is huge to promoting
Yeah.
others to do that. And this is going to give the community several of these locations to.
Yeah,
to use
I'm
as is.
certainly understanding of the benefits and I really am supportive of this. We don't have to make a decision right away.
Absolutely.
I'd like to maybe wait until the project gets ready to roll and maybe get a little bit better idea what's going on here.
Okay.
But I am certainly understanding of the benefits of what you're proposing. The city tries to engineer all the time to do that, and
Absolutely.
certainly encourage developers to do the same, not only just through encouragement, but our ordinances. So stormwater is obviously a huge issue within the city. Being around the lakes and in the watershed area, it's very important. We'll just want to look at this specific request.
Absolutely.
You guys have any questions?
Total acreage again, how many acres?
You're looking at 15 acres.
15 acres and the total project cost just over 100, did I hear you say?
Yeah, if you throw in that pond stabilization, you're about 100,000, and that 100,000 basically would include just the design for the stabilization areas. We don't even, after the design, then there would be another cost for implementation from there. That's just for the initial design portion. Stantec gave us the initial design quote, but since we don't have a design yet, we don't have an implementation plan as of yet.
Thank you.
All right. Well, appreciate what you brought to us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, the public education is, as Aaron mentioned, very important, and we're appreciative
Yeah.
of what you've done for us today. So we'll certainly get involved.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, Denny.
Mayor, do you want a motion on that at all, or just, what would you like, or,
There's really not anything on here. Was just a memo,
okay.
unless you want to make a motion that we just defer any, but, I mean, there's no motion.
Okay.
There's no real request.
Bring it before the board again, we can bring Brad again, or I'll just bring it before the board.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
Do y'all have any preference on that?
I just,
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Interesting.
All right, Denny.
Okay, the first thing we got is the new hire change payroll report. We've got 3 seasonal employees that will be starting in May. One of them is Craig Warren, which is one of our retired firefighters from last year. So it's kind of nice to see him still wanting to serve the city a little bit. And then we had a merit increase for Braxton Wilson out at the cemetery. He's been with us about 90 days now and has just done a bang-up job out there for Hal. So Hal wanted to reward him with a little bit of an increase.
All right. Questions?
move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And travel requests.
Travel requests, we have 3 requests. One from Fire Chief Mayo going down to the fire conference in Indianapolis next week. Captain Keller with the police department going to the PIO, Public Information Officer Mid-Year Conference in Evansville. And then our stormwater employee Brandon Cordell going down for the annual MS4 meetings in Plainfield in May.
Is that no cost for the chief? Fire chief?
Yes, yep.
I mean, he'll be taking city vehicle
Yeah.
I believe
transportation.
he's gonna be staying with his parents while he's down there.
That's nice. All right, well, I'll move we approve the travel request as
Your
presented.
parents aren't gonna charge you, just, okay.
Might have to mow the yard.
All right, heard a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Denny. Aaron, Assistant Chief will present a permission to apply for a Homeland Security grant.
Yes, just asking to apply for a grant through the state. It is a reimbursement grant. What it's going to go toward is buying some lumber and also a couple pieces of equipment. Over the 3 years with COVID, our abilities for structural collapse, which actually started back in October 24th of 2001 when we were hit by the tornado. It's skills that we've developed since then. We're trying to train that next generation of guys that are going to be responding to those emergencies. So that's what that covers, is buying 4x4s, 2x4s, so we can teach them how to construct shores. Not only in just tornadoes, but we actually use a lot of shoring for vehicles into houses, more than we do anything. So that's what we're asking for.
So the grant covers not only equipment, but these lumber supplies?
Yes, lumber supplies.
All right.
Consumable supplies
Yep.
is what it is.
All right.
Yes.
That was my only question.
I move to approve the request.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Aaron.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brian. Brian's not here. Well, this is a Wildman contract. There's a rate change. You're going to address this, Aaron?
Yeah, I'll introduce it, but Wildman's here to give a little more detail onto it. But basically, the agreement, the 3-year agreement that we just signed with Wildman, there was some numbers. They can explain if it was just an oversight or not, but they're requesting an amendment to the pricing of our wastewater department's list. If you recall, we did pricing for each individual department. This only affects the pricing for some of the specialty items they use. And with that, I'll let the Wildman team give you a little more.
Well, you had mentioned in your letter here that the wastewater department had concurred that they need these items.
Yeah, they've reviewed what the price increase would impact to their budget
Yeah.
and believe it's fair and agreeable from their perspective.
But
on
most of
that.
these items weren't on the original, all but one. And these are new items.
No, I don't believe so. Maybe Wildman can clarify that. I believe these were all on there. They just had they had an error in the pricing that was on the sheet we agreed
Yeah,
to.
I went back and looked, and the only thing I found was the JT50 industrial jacket.
They're a little bit funny to compare the numbers, but maybe they
Okay,
can compare.
there you go.
It took me a second to find them
Got
as
it.
well.
All right, let's hear from Wildman.
Hi.
Brooke, how are you?
Yeah, so the items that we have highlighted, these aren't items, the JT50 is a current item that is in service, but the other light items, those are brand-new items.
Right.
Primarily some FR items, some high-vis items, so they are falling in our specialty category. And so we did just need to reevaluate the pricing, and Dan can better explain some of that.
Yeah, so essentially, we submitted our style changes for purchase, and we had some pushback from our purchasing department because the payback on the garments exceeded the life expectancy of the garment. So typically, we would see a payback on garments somewhere in between 35 and 50 weeks, and we were out over 100 weeks on some of these specialty items. So what we were asking were the SKU-specific style changes or upgrades that we're moving to to adjust the unit price for those specific SKU items. And it was primarily FR and high vis. There were 2 jackets, I believe, on there too.
GT 50 and GT 60.
So are these different items or just different SKU numbers from the original contract?
So they, on the new contract, they are listed, so it is an oversight on our part.
So they were
with the
not listed
pricing.
on the original contract?
Yes, they were on there.
The one that we just did.
Yes, the one that we just did. But they were new items not in service yet, minus the jackets. So the jackets were in service, but the other items were not. And we listed pricing on that contract for these items, but we have not put wares in these garments yet. We have not ordered them yet. We went to order, our purchasing pushed back and said, the payback on these basically exceeds the life expectancy of the garment. So we were out over 100 weeks on some of these garments, and the typical life expectancy of a garment is on average 2 years. So 2 to 3 years. So, and that's only cost on the garments itself. So that does not include any processing, laundering, equipment, delivery, any other cost associated. It's only on the cost of the actual item.
So it's just the 9 items that are listed here that you're proposing to redo the charge?
And if I remember correctly, I don't think we had much of a overall rate increase, right? So I thought their proposal was fair to begin with. Now, to change it, to change this is,
Yeah.
we need to consider, but
So the number of units that it will impact are listed there in the second column as well. And when you factor 11 to 13 garments per wear, typically per SKU item, you're not talking about many wears.
Right. Well, and back to Aaron, your comment,
Sure.
that's why I was asking for Brian. I
Yeah, I was
thought-
gonna say, maybe Brian can elaborate, because I didn't want to speak for him, but I didn't, that's the department that's impacted.
Yes.
by this change.
The FR that they keep referring to is a fire retardant that's required for our electricians when they open up these panels in case there's an arc flash.
Sure.
And then the high vis, that's what we're going to for all our maintenance crews, so they're out in the streets and stuff, especially during the summer. They don't have to have the shirt on plus vest on, so it just limits the layers of clothing they're required to wear when
Yeah.
they're working in the street.
So I don't, this isn't a big deal, but I went back to look to see if these were listed. Were they listed in other departments, but not in the utility department?
They should have been listed in the wastewater department specifically
Okay,
on their addendum.
maybe there was more than one addendum.
There were 2 pages to the wastewater sheet.
Okay,
They were, I did a cross-reference.
Okay,
there,
that's
as
fine.
you did, and they were a little, I don't know what it was, but I remember having a look at it.
Okay.
They do have a lot of SKU items within
Sure.
the department because there's so many different categories of these.
bottom line is that, Brian, these are items that we certainly need. The only thing we have to decide is that increase in cost. Are we going to accept that? And frankly, you guys have been good to us. The original increases were very minimal, so I think, George, I kind of take your lead that sounds like if this is what needs to happen, then I would be okay with it.
yeah, it sounds like complicated items too. You order clothing and try to factor in of course, they need to do their due diligence, but I think it's probably an honest mess, and they've been a long-time partner with the city and had a good relationship, and they're local, and all that stuff kind of plays into it probably. What do you think? Yes. All right. So if you're all right with
Yeah.
this?
No, I just want to make sure, because it's
No, it's a good question.
a little bit out of the ordinary to come back and increase prices on a contract that we've already approved, but I do understand the reasoning and the need for it, so. All right,
Well, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the change memo.
all right,
Second.
all right, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right. The accounting department will be happy.
We're always happy. Or are you talking about?
I wasn't talking about you, Lynn. All right. Item 6 is Fire Chief Employment Agreement. This was recently set up by the approval of the City Council Monday night, that they would bypass the 5-year requirement for trying to be a member of this department. So with that, we're now ready to propose his contract agreement with you. Typically, we do not need a contract agreement, but coming from another department from afar, relocating, we wanted to show certainly that we have some confidence that we are agreeing that with this agreement, we are hopeful that Chief Mayo will extend well beyond that. So, but understand the need to do this. You want to go into that a little bit as far as the terms of this?
Yeah, so what we've come up with Chief Mayo is a 2-year agreement. The fire chief serves at the pleasure of the mayor. So we know that we're going to be in a transitional period after this year. So in order to give the chief a little bit of confidence in us, we wanted to let him know that we understand the position that he was in moving here from South Carolina. So if at some time that he is relieved of duty, as long as it's not for cause, then he would get a 12-week severance package.
Yeah.
So,
And I think to boil it down, I'm only going to be here 9 more months. And he came in, obviously the fire chief serves at the mayor's pleasure. So if I hire him, give him my full endorsement for 9 months, that needs to be extended. And that's the whole reason for this. So, questions?
I really appreciate you keeping me in the know on all this as it's developed, and welcome, Chief, that kind of thing. And I'm in full support of this because of the unique situation that we're looking at. So thanks to all parties involved, and just, I do support this. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, whoever it would be in 10 months,
Right.
whoever it would be. So,
Definitely makes sense.
Right.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement.
I second.
all right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right,
thank you.
thank you. Item 7, I'm going to have Stacy present. City set up a Spanish call center. Been kind of doing some beta testing, if you will. We've had a pretty good start. I mentioned to somebody I got my first complaint about the roads in a bilingual call. So it sounds to me like it's working. But we want to extend this at least through the end of the year so that we've got a period of time to evaluate how effective this is before we move ahead for whoever's here next. So we're going to, what this contract does is extends this call center through the end of the year. And then whoever's next will need to sit down and evaluate that. Stacy?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Well, you can answer the
This went
question.
live in November, and so when we went live with it, there's been a period of just trying to get the word out. In our Hispanic community, promoting things works best by word of mouth, and so it's taken some time of getting people out in the community, talking with these individuals, letting them know about this opportunity. So naturally, there's going to be that period of growth. We also know that just generally in the city, as we head into spring and summer, our call volume for different situations increases dramatically. So we expect that to happen with this as well.
But within the last month or so, we've seen a big uptick in the use of this Spanish call center. So we think that's going to also trend, not just from them learning about it now, but it's going to trend with the city in general and the amount of calls that we get for just various city services during these warmer months.
We've had great success with Language Matters as far as getting our documents translated and having a really good interface now when there is a bilingual concern. And this is just was an idea that came out of our discussions that we thought was very relevant. And so far, it seems to be working pretty good. So,
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
all right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Stacy. Item number 8, Justin's going to present this as an outdoor seating certificate of approval.
I did want to make one comment on the Language Matters thing, the previous item. We had a gentleman come in yesterday, and we used it for about an hour yesterday, so it is being used. It's a great asset to have, so we really appreciate that.
Yeah,
The outdoor seating, this is guidelines that were adopted by the City Council a couple years back regarding outdoor seating. So whenever there's a new outdoor seating area, we bring it before you for approval. So we've gone through the steps for 108 North Buffalo Street. They'd like to add a new outdoor seating area. They've been given the rules regarding outdoor seating areas that relate to ADA and just making sure those access is maintained along in the public right-of-ways. So we just ask for your approval of this proposed outdoor seating area. They have provided proof of insurance as well.
There is one, when we submitted it initially extending past the property line, so it didn't end up just at the property
that
line.
was going to be my question. So this technical drawing you submitted here,
Extends past the property line, so that.
where's the property line?
Yeah, I crossed it out on what was submitted.
Okay,
I crossed
I just didn't know where the building line was. It doesn't
Yeah.
show.
Oh, I see.
We reached out to the condo owners next door, because there were several of them who indicated they were in favor, but after a discussion with the board, they said no. So
Right.
those were the numbers.
Okay, so what is shown in the photograph is accurate within your boundaries?
Yeah, I took a photograph after they removed the furniture, and on your document there with a plan view, I scratched out what was
Okay,
past the property line.
all right. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it
there's a
was-
lot of, we would like to see more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
quite frankly.
And it's the exact same furniture as next door, last night, so nice,
Okay.
good looking,
Thanks.
good news.
Okay. Justin, just remind us what the clearance required, was it 5 feet, 4 feet?
Yeah, it's 5 feet for ADA, and then we have some other guidelines as far as umbrella height and type of furniture, so somebody couldn't just put a couch out there. We don't want indoor furniture outside, so these items are designed to be outside patio furniture, so that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I know the council spent a lot of time putting those, and you, of course, putting those things together, so I appreciate you sticking to that.
We're sensitive to the access too. We're actually in the process with the building department of building a fully accessible ADA compliant bathroom at Courthouse Property as well. So we're trying to get on this for everybody.
All right? Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the certificate for outdoor seating.
Second.
Just quick question, is it a 2-year certificate? Or is it,
So we've been kind of going off of if these areas changed dramatically or if they're new. So we didn't have like a timeline on that, but I'll take a look and make sure we're doing that properly for each.
or maybe based on the owner, or what, a change in ownership?
Yeah, because this was a new outdoor seating
Yeah.
area, it hadn't existed before. so-
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it's probably not
all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
bad. Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Your bodyguard's with you today, Travis?
Not much good. Just trying to keep me in line.
All right.
Good to see him out and about.
Yes.
Item 9, Joel, how are you?
Very good.
Good. You've got a request permission to participate in the SAVE grant.
Yes, in September of last year, I asked permission to apply for the Stop Harm Violation Enforcement Grant. This grant is non-matching funds. We just received an award letter for $32,000, which is shared throughout our county. It's actually triple from last year, so. So I'm asking permission to accept the funds and accept the grant. It's administered through.
Is this primarily for enforcement?
This is for enforcement and school safety around buses and school zones.
I guess my question is, I know there was some equipment put up on Center Street up on the hill for stop arm enforcement. Would it cover expenses like that?
No,
Okay,
this covers labor.
just labor. Okay, fair enough. Questions?
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, Joel. All right. Chief is asking permission to donate a 2003 Magic Trail boat trailer.
Yes, sir. So the Dr. King's had a trailer that's been out of service, I think it was 2015. It's actually holding a boat, an old boat that we're going to be trading in at some point, getting some credit for. We were approached by Aaron Boyner, if you'd like to. But I will say, as far as the request, it statutorily allows us, attached to statute,
To donate the trailer.
to donate. It's technically a transfer of assets, but yes, to donate the trailer.
So with the explosion of kayaking on the rivers, my little volunteer department covers a big stretch of the Heel River in Wabash County. And we do several rescues a year. Our township was able to purchase us a boat for river rescue, and what we had put together to move it did not work. So this trailer's been sitting over there for a while. I approached RJ. RJ says, I'll talk to the chief. Here we stand.
I know our city's benefited by having things given to us that weren't being used or.
It's truly a minimal value.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think this is a great idea. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, if it can be utilized to give us a little extra space over in the pen, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll move to approve give permission to donate the trailer to Pleasant Township Volunteer Fire Department.
Second.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed? All right, thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Dustin, got a smile on your face and a bounce in your step coming up to ask that we accept $408,059.
That's right. Back in January, we applied for this year's first calling of community crossings matching grant. And we got a notification here last week that we have been awarded in full. So the amount is $408,059. This is a 50/50 matching grant. So the total project that we have laid out is basically the engineering estimate is about $816,000.
Yeah, it's great. Can you talk a little bit about your plans for
Yeah, so the plans right now, we're not out of the woods yet. This will go out to bid here. Hopefully the first four works in June is when we'll be opening up bids, maybe the second one. Just some final construction drawings and contract documents are in process right now. So what we're planning on doing is on Ranch Road from the railroad tracks clear south to 200 South will be repaved. Country Club Road from the bridge or the dam to the South Corporate City limits. Center Street and Buffalo Street here at the heart of downtown, so from Lake Street to Indiana on Center, from Market to Main on Buffalo, and then Jefferson Street, the truck route from Brownson Street all the way to Oregon. And there'll be new paving, ADA ramp updates on some of the sidewalks, off the Ranch Road, and we'll also add new paving markings as well.
Any idea on the timeline?
We'll see once we go out for bid, you know, as long as bids are awardable and, we can go there, but, very optimistic, a lot of bids have been coming for these here lately from what Aaron and I have both seen, so hopefully that won't be an issue and, it'll probably be fall time.
Fall, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we got fat skinny down here in May, and I was hoping it didn't interfere with that. Or if you get done before that, the bikers would
Yeah,
love
we'll be
that.
in May, but it will, yeah, hopefully
Perfect.
be by early fall.
All right, well, congratulations. You work hard to put these things together, not knowing whether it's going to get approved. So appreciate all the work you do on this.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it is, just a little side note for, since 2020, this program is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, a 50% matching grant is extremely significant. So the city of Warsaw, in the last 3 years, we've received a little over $1.2 million in matching grants. So it's been huge for us, very, very thankful.
I was going to say the same thing. There are times that our state legislators do things right, and this was one of them. Because it's become quite a benefit to us to get a lot of these projects done. So,
It's exciting.
Yeah, I move to accept. Thanks, Dustin.
I will second that.
all right, any final questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
All right, Lynn, no special claims today.
Not this one.
All right. And we've got just one docket.
Yep.
George?
I have one question already answered, so, did you see anything?
Good.
Questions? You all right?
Yep.
In that case, I will move that we approve the claims docket as presented.
Second.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Any other items to be carried forward? Okay. Any questions or comments before we adjourn? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Third Friday tonight, don't forget. Third Friday.
Yeah, John.